In the harsh winter of 1897, a deep, relentless snow swallowed the quiet town of Cold Hollow, Virginia. It was a time of few words and many prayers, where lamps burned fiercely through the long nights, pushing back against the encroaching darkness. But one house, a lone sentinel perched on a ridge above the old mill road, had fallen silent. Its lights had gone out. This was the home of Thomas Wren, a widower raising 2 young children on his own. 4-year-old Clara and baby Samuel, who was not yet a year old. For 3 days, no smoke curled from the chimney of the Wren house. A growing unease settled over the neighbors. Finally, Sheriff Malcolm Price decided he had to check. He rode his horse up the treacherous, snow-covered hill. As he approached, he saw the front door was slightly ajar, a dark gash against the white landscape. Frost had crept across the floorboards, its icy fingers reaching into the heart of the home. The silence inside was absolute. A heavy, suffocating blanket. The sheriff drew his weapon, his breath clouding in the frigid air. He moved cautiously from room to room. In the nursery, a small cradle stood near the window. Inside, he found little Samuel, his skin a deathly blue, his small body still and cold. Of Clara, there was no sign. Thomas Wren himself had vanished into thin air. Sheriff Price searched the property for clues, his boots crunching in the deep snow. The only tracks he found were a set of bare footprints, leading not away from the house, but directly toward the old barn. The prints were deep and clear, as if someone had walked calmly, deliberately, through the biting cold without shoes. Inside the barn, the air was just as cold, but a single lantern cast a flickering, lonely glow. It sat on the dirt floor, placed carefully beside a large wooden beam. Carved into the beam was a rough, hand-hewn cross. Burned into the wood just below it were 4 haunting words. "She will sing again." The disappearance of Thomas and Clara Wren sent a shockwave through the tight-knit community of Cold Hollow. Sheriff Price organized a massive search. For weeks, the men of the town, wrapped in heavy coats and grim determination, combed the frozen woods and the treacherous ridges. They followed every possible trail, shouting Clara's name until their voices were raw. Their only discovery was a small, heart-wrenching clue, a torn piece of a child's dress, its bright color a stark contrast to the white snow, snagged on a thorny branch near the icy banks of Black Hollow Creek. But that was all. As winter's grip tightened, the search was eventually called off. The woods kept their secrets. Months passed, the snow melted, and the green of spring returned to the mountains, but a shadow remained over Cold Hollow. The Wren house stood empty, a monument to the town's unanswered questions. Then, one day, a letter arrived at the post office. It was addressed to Sheriff Price, and the handwriting was immediately recognizable as that of Thomas Wren. The postmark was even stranger. It came from a remote train station that had been abandoned since the Civil War, a place no one had used in decades. The sheriff's hands trembled slightly as he opened the envelope. Inside, a single sheet of paper contained a chilling, cryptic message. It was dated March 3rd, 1898, and read simply, "She sings in the dark now. Liston." The case was never officially solved. It bled into the realm of local legend, a ghost story told to frighten children and keep them from wandering too far. The tale of the Wren family became a permanent part of Cold Hollow's identity. Parents would warn their little ones, "Don't go near the ridge, or Thomas Wren might get you." Over the years, some folks, walking near the woods on cold, windy nights, swore they could hear the faint, ethereal sound of a child's lullaby drifting on the air, a song with no source, a melody from nowhere. The mystery took another strange turn decades later. In 1924, a crew of railroad workers was assigned the task of restoring the old, abandoned train station to the very same one from the postmark on Thomas Wren's letter. While digging to replace the rotten timbers of the platform, one of the workers' shovels hit something hard. It was a small, metal box, rusted and heavy with dirt. They pried it open. Inside, nestled on a bed of dried leaves, was a lock of blonde hair, tied with a simple ribbon. Beside it were 2 tiny baby teeth, carefully wrapped in a linen handkerchief, and embroidered in the corner of the cloth were the initials, C.W. Clara Wren. The discovery only deepened the mystery. It provided a tangible link to the lost girl, but it offered no explanation. What happened to her? What was her father's role in her disappearance? And what became of Thomas Wren? His body was never found. He seemed to have walked out into the snow and simply dissolved into the winter air, leaving behind only questions and a lingering sorrow. Today, the Wren house is gone, claimed by time and the unforgiving mountain weather. Only the stone foundation and the collapsed ruins of the barn remain. But the legend is as alive as ever. Every winter, without fail, when the first heavy snow blankets Cold Hollow, someone makes a pilgrimage to the ruins. They leave a small, freshly carved wooden cross leaning against the crumbling barn wall across that, when found, is still warm to the touch. The villagers say that if you're brave enough to go there, to stand in that silent, haunted place at the stroke of midnight, you can hear it, a man's voice, a desperate whisper carried on the wind, rustling through the skeletal trees, repeating the same promise over and over. She will sing again. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the chilling mystery of Cold Hollow. If you enjoy tales of the unexplained and stories that linger long after they're told, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Let me know in the comments what you think happened to Thomas and Clara Wren. Until next time, stay curious.